Hello, my name is Grian and welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft. And it starts off in a glass cage by the looks of things. The AFK display case, do not feed. Well, thanks for that. You can't go AFK on this server for a second. Well, I've been thinking about what to do this episode. As the last few have been pretty heavy on Sahara, I thought I should probably just get it out the way. There's such a small amount to do, so I think for the beginning of this episode, what we're going to do is finish off the actual building. But let me give you a little bit of an update on what's going on. So I've been sort of hacking away at trying to get this finished as much as possible. I've added a little bit of detailing on the side here on this big grey wall, but I want to add a bit more. Down here, we've got the shop front, but the outside of it is, well, there's nothing here. There's absolutely nothing here. And I actually need to put a sign saying that we're not open yet. On the inside, I'm nearly finished with all of the decorations. This is where the customer's going to be. This is where they're going to interact with the shop. So this has to look nice. And for the most part, I'm getting there. Up here is another unfinished area, particularly with this wall that's doing nothing in particular. So that's onto the to-do list for today. We've got our Sahara Hermit News over there. I almost called it Sahara News. It's not Sahara News, it's Hermit News. It's unbiased news broadcast. So maybe we're going to do a bit more of that as well. And then over here, this is where the majority of the building is, like the big warehouse building. However, I'm not actually going to be touching any of this today because Iskal told me that they're not quite sure what to do with the redstone and it needs to go underneath, so I don't want to go and build anything until the redstone is finished. I have a feeling this room will be available to me, but for the most part, I just want to get the majority of the build done. So we're going to fill in these walls, we're going to do a bit of more decoration, and we're just going to finish up everything to get it set in stone, or probably more white concrete. So let's crack on with a time lapse to try and get Sahara done before we move on with the rest of the episode. So what I wanted to start doing in this time lapse is actually address the back of the giant grey wall. I thought it would be really fun to add a little glass feature that allowed us on the inside to sort of look over the shopping district, which, you know, eventually may become our kingdom as Sahara dominates all of the economy. Of course, we don't know if that's actually going to happen. We don't even know if we're going to get a singular customer. However, I am going to do my best to market the shop and its concept as well as I can. And instead of helping in this time lapse, Iskal decided just to watch. Look at him. He just watched me do it and then left. So I made that glass thick or at the start, and then I actually made it much thinner, and then I went round the back of the Sahara shop and I just finished what was there. So I needed to fill in this last remaining wall and the floor underneath it. It needed doing. That took a long time because despite it not taking that long in terms of actually building, it's gathering the gravel, gathering the sand, gathering the bone meal, putting it all together, and then sitting in the concrete maker. So all of that stuff, it takes a long time. And that feels kind of weird because now the outside of Sahara is pretty much finished. There's obviously still a lot of interior work to do, but having the entire outside finished is a massive achievement. There are thousands and thousands of blocks that have gone into this enormous project, and it's very exciting to see it done. And we didn't skimp out either. We went for the difficult blocks, the concrete, the quartz. It was a grind, and I'm very, very happy to say that the building is very much finished for the exterior. As you can see though, there's still a long way to go on the inside. But having finished the exterior, it means that the redstone guys know exactly where they need to be. But after the time lapse, I was just on the server, messing about as I do, and you guys know me by now. I'm a little bit of a prankster. Yeah, I'm gonna just walk backwards while I tell this story, and hopefully it'll be a little bit weird. So basically, I like to mess with absolutely everyone and anyone that's on the server, especially if they're streaming. If they're streaming, I love popping in and making a bit of a fuss, okay? And I'm going to tell you what I did to Rendog TV. Now, he wasn't actually streaming at the time, but he was AFK. And you know how I feel about people that go AFK. So I actually started to push Ren. And I don't know where I was going with it, but he was still AFK about 5 minutes into me pushing him around. So I decided to start recording it. And the brilliant thing about Ren is that sometimes you can really trick him with the simplest of things. So I pushed him, and I pushed him, and I pushed him for about 20 minutes. Now, that doesn't sound like a very long time, but it is when you're pushing someone in Minecraft, because it's a very lengthy process. So I pushed him, and I even had to use slabs to get him up the hill, and I kept pushing him and pushing him and pushing him, until he ended up inside a cliff outside his base. Now, bearing in mind, he started in a little cave underground. He was just AFK in his base. So to get him from down in that cave all the way up into a random cave, and he came back from his AFK session in the complete darkness, and he was so confused. And about 10 minutes later, he comes back and he's like, "What? How did you get here?" He thought I teleported him and everything. He was honestly baffled, and I absolutely found it hilarious. I pretended it wasn't me, and he didn't know it was me either. I tried to blame it on someone else. But anyway, that's just some of the shenanigans that I like to get up on. But this one in particular, I found really funny because it was such. It wasn't meant to be an actual prank. It just ended up happening. And that stuff happens off camera all the time. Enough of my story about pushing Rendog around. I actually also have started another room within Sahara. Now, this is going to be quite important. As you know, in my base, we've got a meeting room, the Infinity Room, and it's been used an awful lot in the past, but we can't keep using that for Sahara matters. So, I've created a boardroom. Now, I'm not finished. As you can see, there's still a lot of glass that needs placing, but this is like an interior room where we can all meet and talk about our things. For example, the marketing campaign. And this is going to be a huge part of my role in Sahara. Because I don't know the redstone, I mean, who knows what's going on over there? Really, no, who knows? A couple of people, to be fair, but not me. So my role is going to be marketing. I need to bring people to Sahara, which should be a lot of fun. So we've already got the shop at Sahara. Hashtag shop at Sahara. Pretty standard stuff. We've got a flyer campaign that I'm hoping to do. Targeted ads. That's going to be a lot of fun. And question mark, because I don't want to reveal all my secrets, but basically what I'm trying to say here is that I've got some big plans, and hopefully I can pitch these to the guys. So imagine me standing here. I've got my board with the charts on it, and I'm gonna have to pitch my marketing thing to the other Sahara guys. And also, this here is where I'm going to move the parrots. This is a pretty terrible room, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna move all of these parrots and probably get some more into here, and we can have a room dedicated to dancing parrots while we're having our meeting. The problem is, getting the parrots is a bit of a pain, because you have to go all the way to the jungle and then get them to TP back with you. It's a mess. So we're going to do that later, and hopefully create like a nice aviary here for them, which should be really cool. But we'll get on that a little bit later on. So yeah, I've got some massive plans here. I'm also planning a secret room. So obviously we can't have all of our meetings in here. Some meetings have to happen in secret. So I'm hoping I can get like a button, like here, and then you press it and the floor opens up and you fall into here. Everyone, all of those bits where you're standing by those chairs, they all open up with some pistons. I'm gonna have to ask Mumbo Jumbo for a bit of help. And you fall down into here. Now, this is going to be a bigger infinity room than the one I've got in my base. And this is going to be where we have our secret meetings. But as you guys know from my infinity room, it's a very expensive project because you have to make thousands of item frames and then thousands of maps. Now that's very, very expensive. So that's also on my to-do list. I also realized that there's like windows here, so I'm going to have to cover those up somehow. But yeah, it's actually really good to have some progress in here. Now, I can't do anything on this side because of that. As I said, we don't know where the redstone's going to go, and I imagine that all of that may end up being used. But I think this side of the building is free game at the moment. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is kind of Sahara related, but not really. So, as you guys know, there are 3 people involved, the architects. Myself, a founding member, Mumbo Jumbo, a founding member, and Iskall, who we invited a bit later on. Now, the thing about Iskall is that he really, really doesn't like a particular block. And that's diorite. And I've been looking around in every single box here. There's none. He burned all of it. Oh, a single block of diorite. He must have missed a bit. But if you look here, all of the diorite has gone. And that's because Iskall has burned it all. And that's quite impressive because diorite is pretty common. But you know me, I don't like wasting things. And if there's money to be made, and there is, there's always diamonds to be made in this server, then I want to see it sold rather than burned. Now, I'm guessing that diorite just isn't going to be sold at Sahara purely because Iskall is doing some of the redstone. So, what I've done is I've salvaged as much as I can on the sly. Every time, because he's been burning it, I've been recovering it. And I've managed to get a couple of shulker boxes of diorite. And what I thought I'd do is create a little secret shop so I can anonymously sell it. And I thought, what better place to do that than in the bird poop pile itself. Now, this is probably one of my favorite things. As I said, there's a little bird up there that started around about the start of the season, and it has been just letting loose. So I thought what we could do is not disturb this too much, because this is a work of art. This truly is. So what I thought we could do is just break in a tiny little bit. Just a tiny little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just extend this a little bit into a little diorite cave, and anyone that wants to buy some can come here. And we can sell it for a really, really reasonable price. You know, in context, this is a really horrible... This is probably the most disgusting shop that has ever been built on the server. I could even rename it to bird poop, but I don't think I am. I think I'm just going to leave it as diorite, but this is absolutely gross. I feel gross, even though I know that this is a rock and not bird poop. It just feels disgusting. There we go. We are now finished. Just need to do a finishing touch of adding a bit of carpet there. And yeah, we've got a cave made out of, you know. So what I've done is I've dyed both of these shulker boxes. This one's called Bird Presents and this one's called Bird Paint. It's not quite full, but the going price of diorite at the moment is about 4 stacks for a diamond. I'm going to double that to 8. 8 stacks for 1 diamond. This stuff would have been burnt anyway, so this is a fantastic deal. If you want to buy a whole shulker box, then it's 5 diamonds. So there we go. This shop is secret diorite. 1 diamond for 8 stacks, so that's at least 3 diamonds in here. 4, 5, there's about 5 diamonds worth. That's really not a lot, but I mean, this didn't take long. This didn't take long to make, and it adds to that bird's endeavors, that bird's mission to cover the shopping district in, yeah. Or it's 5 diamonds for the full shulker box. So obviously these shulker boxes are worth quite a lot anyway, so I thought if you could just buy the whole thing for 5 diamonds. And also, don't tell Iskall. I'm counting on all of you not to give away my new secret shop. So if anyone actually manages to find that, that would be absolutely brilliant. Well, that takes care of that job, which I've been meaning to do for a while, because it's very hard to collect all of that diorite on the sly. You have to understand that Iskall's pretty prolific with just going and emptying all of these and burning them. So we've got to be really careful about it. But if there's diamonds to be made, there's diamonds to be made. I think now it's time to work on something that, I'll be honest, I hoped someone else would do. I really didn't want to have to do this, but I think it's time. I need a new project, and I can't wait any longer. And as you guys know, I love to fly in Minecraft. The elytra is one of my favourite things, and you can catch me flying around the district at all times pretty much. And I have my own like favourite route through all of the weird stuff. However, nobody on the server has made an elytra flying course, and I would like to start one. Now, this is a huge project that's going to take a long time to make, so there's no way I can start it and finish it in this episode. But I would like to talk about some of the plans that I have. So, up on this hill, and we are just above the stock exchange here, I'm hoping to make a platform that goes quite high up in the air, and has a platform that extends over it. Now, the idea is that we create sort of like Quidditch hoops that you fly through, and they ding every time, and they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc, etc, and you have to fly around it as fast as you can. But here's the twist. This is going to be a bit of a shop. So, you pay a diamond to play the course. If you die, then you fail and you lose the diamond. If you beat my time, then you actually win a prize, and I don't know how many that is yet, but... And just before everyone gets all concerned in the comments, I've talked to the hermits and I've asked them, every single person, and they are absolutely fine with me creating this course and attaching it to buildings and all sorts. It's not going to look exactly pretty, okay? That's just the way that this is gonna go. Like, you cannot just make these circles and have it look pretty. However, I will do my best to make it fit in as much as possible and not just be loads of hoops everywhere. But the idea is that we create a really fun course. People are really looking forward to it. The other hermits are really excited to see what I can create. But there's like a bit of a problem, you see. When I fly through the Hermitcraft shopping district, I like to go through these really difficult, tight spaces as fast as I can. Kind of like this. And I've got my usual spots that I like to go through. For example, one of them is straight through here under this. Not particularly difficult, but then I like to turn and go through here, and then I start hitting things. But there's a bit of a problem. I can't just put the hoops through all of these tight spaces. It's just not going to work. There's not enough space to put the hoops. So I've really got to think very carefully about where each of these hoops are going to go. So I was thinking at least it's going to start up here on this platform that extends out here. So maybe roughly about here. I'm thinking it's going to go straight down through. You've got to go up through here and then down under this and then carry on through here, and then that's as far as I've got. So I've got a vague... Oh, that looks so good in the distance. But I know where it's going to start and finish. I've got only a few points that I think will work out. I need to make sure that I'm not too intrusive, so I'm going to take my time making this. I really am. I'm going to do a few hoops per episode until the course is done. The idea is that hopefully over the course of a few weeks we can make a course that goes through some of the most interesting parts of the Hermitcraft server. It is possible that I could make an elytra course that goes like on the outside of the island, but I think that's less fun, especially as I really enjoy flying through the actual shopping district itself, because there's so many more interesting parts. And also, if you do fail the course, you die, and then all your items are right here in the shopping district, so it's not a big deal. And I imagine if this is a very fast-paced and difficult course, which is what I want to create, then it will happen quite a lot where people take some fall damage. So, to get started, I really want to start by planning out where these are going to go. I'm not going to build anything too concrete, but I'm thinking like a wooden platform that starts up here. Nothing too high for the moment. So the platform will end up being around here. And then it's going to extend a little bit like it's an actual like bungee jump platform. And I'm thinking that you got to dive down and there's immediately a horizontal hoop right underneath. So you got to start by going down and then immediately pull up going out through here. So I want this to be a very challenging course, and I need to like create a symbol here that shows that it's the Elytra course, and hopefully we can make a bit of money by making a really tough course. Now here's the thing, I have to complete this course by myself without getting hurt as well. So I know where it's going to start, which is there on this platform that I have not created. I mean, that's awful, but I also know where I want it to finish, and I think it's actually rather elegant. I want it to end right up there. I want to create a circle, a really nice big circle at the top of my base. And that way... Sorry? Oh, for good... That is absolutely typical. Absolutely typical. Oh, it's going to be a nightmare. Okay, let me go and repair my Elytra, and we'll get back to making this Elytra course. Oh, we're back in the air now. So yeah, as I was saying, I would like the end of this to be up here, this circle, like a quartz circle I'm thinking, and that actually fits really nicely in with my base. Since I'm going to be sort of attaching hoops, with everybody's permission, with everyone's permission, I'm going to be attaching hoops all over the island, and I'm going to try and do it as nicely as possible. I don't want, for example, to just put a hoop right there in the middle that you got to fly through. Let's be honest though, the shopping district is a bit of a mess. A bit of a beautiful mess, if you ask me. I absolutely love flying, quite badly sometimes, through all the nooks and crannies. I think that's probably my favourite one. I love flying through the shopping district in general, but with a proper flying course, I think I can present a really fun challenge. So what I think we can do is start with our very first planning points. So I'm not going to make any actual hoops, but I want to show you the locations first. So let's just make this in wood first so that we can plan out where this is going to be, and because we don't want to make the actual hoops until we know that this is a good course to do. So, right, this isn't going to be the way that it actually is, but there's a hoop right here. So this is the starting one. Alright, so this is the course so far, and we're only going to do a few points. So it goes down, you got to pull straight up through here, and then I actually want it so you got to go round and through here. So I want to attach one straight to this middle pillar. Okay, so I've made all of the plan points. I've made all of the temporary rings so that we can test out the first part of this, or at least what we're going to do in this episode. So this is my current course. It goes through this one, and then down there you got to do a quick hairpin turn up through there and then down. So let's give this a little test ride. You know what? This actually doesn't look that bad. I know that it's just like wood rings, but it actually doesn't look that bad. It doesn't look like it's really intrusive. Anyway, let's give this a go, shall we? So you fly through here, and remember, speed is key, so you've got to spam some rockets to keep up your speed. You got to go down here, through this ring, you got to travel through there. I took a bit of damage, and then out the other side. And then I've got to figure out where I go from here, but I think that's a really good starting point. I think there should be a penalty, like a time penalty, every time you take damage, forcing you to try and beat your time. So, like, you know, maybe every hit that you take adds 5 seconds onto your time or something like that. I haven't come up with all of the ins and outs, but this should be really fun. It's not yet actually that challenging because the spaces aren't that difficult, but I imagine as the course goes on, it will get difficult. So I did that without any damage taken. So I've really got to take it inside some of these more difficult turns and really do like right angle turns and stuff. But I think this is going to be a really fun project that is going to do well in terms of the hermits taking it on. I think it might look actually quite cool. I was really worried about how bad this might look, but the hermits are excited, I'm excited, and hopefully you guys are excited as well to see, well, it's Season 6 first minigame, I think. I don't think anyone else has made a proper minigame, so this will be the first one, and I'm very, very excited. But anyway, I think that is all we have time for today. I must apologise for the slow uploads, but I'm now back on track with things, and I hope to get some more videos out very, very soon, particularly in Hermitcraft. And another thing, those of you that watched my last episode, and at the end of the episode, because those of you that watch all the way to the end, you're my favourites. No. Those of you that watch all the way to the end, you guys really, really do support me a lot. And I actually said at the end of my last episode that if you hadn't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, because I wanted to see if it actually made a difference. And boy, did it. So many people, more than usual, subscribed to the channel. And that felt really, really good. I didn't actually think saying, hey, you, subscribe to my channel. I didn't think that actually worked. Especially when it's, you know, at the start of the video. So maybe I'll include it, you know, as a bit of a side thing. If you do enjoy my videos, please do consider subscribing. There's a huge amount of people that watch this series that aren't subscribed, and it really does help the channel. You can, you know, get notified when I upload a video so you don't miss it. And, yeah, oh god, I hate, I really don't like doing all that YouTuber stuff. But if you do like the videos, please consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, as always, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Hermitcraft, and hopefully I'll have some more of this elaborate elytra range to show you, and I hope to make this really tough and fun. Let me know what you think in the comments, and goodbye!